Did you work with Bilbo?
Our live tile, the dome, there and back again.
This tile has multiple meanings.
Very multiple meanings.
There and back again, you know, kind of a play. We were dealing with echoes, so like sound echoing, you know. Also, we had to do the lab twice.
So,
yay!
That's what we did. I want to go back again.
So our purpose was basically, like we kind of started explaining yesterday, one of Doc's very vague labs, understand the system. We started out just trying to figure out exactly what we could take data on in the dome, and we decided to keep the frequency that we were emitting underneath the dome constant and change the heights and distances from which we were recording the echoes and from which we emitted a tone. So yeah, a couple pictures of the dome.
So what we did is we kept it like straightly like X and Y axis. We didn't do really any diagonals or anything like that. We had a 0 point, which you can kind of see was the speakers right there on the bottom picture. With the speakers, that's where the 0 point is. We measured the radius of the dome. We got building plans, and it was about like 11 feet or something. So we measured from that, made that our 0 point. So everything from that point would be like 1 meter, 2 meters, stuff like that. So we would move either the microphone, speaker, or both of them at the same time. 1 meter, 2 meter to 3 meters, which would be
away from the center.
The 3 meters would be about at the edge of the dome. So we could see what would happen when the microphone was in the center and the speaker was at the edge of the dome, or when they were both at the edge of the dome. So we did different heights as well. So we did 1 meter height and 2 meter heights, and then we also did on the floor.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of went into our procedure. Our data for was this the weird?
Yeah, it wouldn't fit on here.
Yeah,
so.
when you printed it out, it was different.
But we
you
have,
want to start?
Sure. So I'll say what I was just saying. It's kind of really a lot of numbers, but you have the height right here on the far left, which is height, and you can see where the speaker was, which is my iPod speaker, and then the micro was the recording device. And so this is where it was. So like this was at 3 meters. Okay. This is at.
It's fine. We don't need to go into
3 meters, 3 meters. So one of the highest decibels we got was at, what was that one?
2 meters and.
At when the speaker was at 3 meters away, when the microphone was at the center.
Yeah.
So we found, like our trend of the data was when the microphone was close to the center, we got a pretty good
louder echo, basically.
We got, yeah, exactly what Anton said. And I can show you. You guys all have to be quiet. And then this is one of our first. This is our 000. So this is height zeros.
And this is a recording of the sound. So you'll hear like the initial tone we used, and then if you listen closely, you'll hear the echo that we recorded. Did you kind of hear that? It was really quiet. What? Do it one more time. Yeah, it's subtle, but and on the graph, we put graphs into our Indie Lab itself, but it's not on here. You can see like the sound waves and how they are decreasing as the echo fades.
It's pretty cool how it
looks. It was pretty interesting. And so basically we came to the conclusion that kind of, I don't want to say an obvious conclusion, but the echo was definitely more prominent when we recorded it from the center. We predicted it to be best like about 1 meter high.
Yeah.
Because we thought that would be like the relative center of the sphere. And we kind of vaguely discussed like focal point and stuff. And if we decide to continue next semester, we'll probably go more in depth than that.
We'll probably like figure out the angle and maybe how we'll find the focal points to where like almost all the sound
is concentrated basically. Because when it goes out, when the sound like goes out in its wave, it reflects and we think it comes back at the focal point. It's kind of like, it's the same as light going into like a concave mirror. It all reflects back into a focal point. And we think that's why it was definitely more strongly heard in the center. And what was kind of weird was at 2 meters, we actually found that, yeah, if you want to, at 2 meters, we actually found that there was almost no echo recorded, which we weren't exactly sure, but we predicted that it may be because it was above the focal point, that somehow the sound was going like, the echo itself was going around it, so we weren't getting all of that echo, if that kind of makes sense. It was like too high to get every echo from the dome. We just got like what was just underneath it, kind of. It was weird. And like if we do it next semester, I think we'll go more into the focal point, and then also we're going to use different tones probably and see what effect that has, like different volumes, stuff like that. You want to play?
Yeah.
That's way too quiet.
I heard it a little.
Basically, you can just hear the initial tone. There's almost no echo, and that was it. That's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's really hard to hear.
Yeah, you guys see what we mean, right?
Yeah.
So,
any questions?
So would that be the same reason why outside of the circle you can't hear any echo at all?
that's
what
kind of what we
Like-
think. That's another question we might completely address next semester, but we feel like that's pretty straightforward. Like outside of the dome, it's not getting that echo, and like I'm thinking the sound would probably go to the focal point and then keep traveling through, but at that point it's just hitting the floor, so you don't
Yeah, you
hear
don't
the
get
echo.
echo.
It kind of, you know.
We also might want to. It's interesting if on the, imagine the dome from this going this way in this left corner. If you stand right there and talk, and there's a water fountain around the corner. If you're at the water fountain, you can hear those people talking, and like they're right next to you.
Yeah,
And
Doc was with us experimenting on that. We were having a conversation. He walked around the corner and said, "I can hear crystal clear what you're saying."
And so that obviously has something to do with the
wasn't anything
dome.
inappropriate.
Somehow the dome is reflecting off.
So yeah, we think the dome reflects the sound and it goes around the corner, and it's
In some
almost
way.
like, yeah, and
So
so
we
we might
might-
look into that too. A lot of possibilities, but pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Raised more questions than answered, but that's what physics does.
That's the nature of life.
Whisper in the dark. Name the sphere.
Any other questions?
Any more questions for these guys?
That's a quote from Lord of the Rings.
Let's thank our speakers.